Welcome to a Deep Dive. Today, we're looking at something pretty fundamental, a big shift in how justice systems see victims, moving them from, just being witnesses to actually having active rights.
Exactly. It's really a move away from a system focused only on the state towards one that's genuinely victim-centric. And we're going to unpack what that really means for you, especially looking at the Indian legal framework, but with a few nods globally, too.
Yeah, we're talking about concrete rights, rights that start the moment a crime's reported, right through the trial and even after. It's quite a change. So, okay, let's picture this. You need to report a crime. Now, under the new Bharatiya Nagarik Suraksha Sanhita, the BNSS, India's new criminal procedure code, there's this thing called the zero FIR.
Ah, yes, the zero FIR, and that simply means you can file that first report at any police station. Doesn't matter where the crime happened. And what's really important here, I think, is the focus on making things easier, more transparent. You're entitled to updates on the investigation progress within 90 days.
90 days, right. And you get free copies of key documents, too, like the charge sheet that's the police's final report, basically within 14 days.
Exactly. It's all about building trust, keeping you involved.
And it goes beyond just info, doesn't it? It's about dignity. The law actually says victims, their families, witnesses, they all have to be protected from intimidation. Plus, and this is significant, there are expanded safeguards. Vulnerable people, women, kids, but now also men over 60, people with disabilities, they can't be forced to go to a police station away from home. A big step for just, well, basic respect.
Which, brings up a key point. What about the victim's actual voice in the trial? They're not just passively watching anymore. The victim now has a specific right to be heard before big decisions are made. Think about bail for the accused, or if the prosecution wants to withdraw the case.
Right. That really challenges the old idea that only the state speaks for everyone's interests. And what if you can't afford a lawyer to help you navigate all this?
Well, that's where the Legal Services Authorities Act comes in. It provides free legal aid, and crucially for women and children, it's available regardless of their income, so their voice gets professional backing. And here's something really empowering, post-conviction. You, as the victim, now have an explicit right to appeal. You can appeal if the accused is acquitted, or if they're convicted, but for a lesser crime than you think fits, or even if the compensation awarded feels inadequate.
So the power to appeal isn't just with the state anymore.
Precisely. It puts that power directly in your hands. It sort of democratizes the appeal process.
Okay, let's zoom in a bit. How does this play out in specific, really tough situations? Like for sexual assault survivors, there's the right to be forgotten, keeping identity private with things like in-camera trials, private court proceedings. But then there's this other concept, the presumption of truth.
Yes, and this is quite a radical shift from the usual innocent until proven guilty. The victim's testimony is taken as prima facie true. That means it's accepted as true at face value, unless proven otherwise. It effectively shifts the burden of proof onto the accused.
Wow, okay. Prima facie true.
It's a legal tool designed to acknowledge the immense challenges survivors face, trying to rebalance things a bit.
That sounds powerful, definitely. But shifting the burden like that, how does it balance with ensuring a fair trial for the accused? That seems like a tricky line to walk.
It is a careful balance. Accepting the testimony prima facie meets that initial burden, but the accused absolutely retains the right to challenge it, to present their own evidence. It aims to stop the victim from being re-traumatized by having to prove every single detail initially, while still upholding the principles of a fair defense. It's not automatic conviction, it's about the starting point.
Got it. And what about for, say, acid attack survivors? What support is there?
It's quite comprehensive now. Beyond just punishing the offender, there's mandated free medical treatment, significant compensation, like the minimum amount set by the Supreme Court in a key case, Laxmi v. Union of India.
And they're tackling the source, too, right? Stricter rules on selling acid?
Yes, very strict. Requiring ID, stating the purpose of purchase, proactive regulation. And financially, there's the NLSO Victim Compensation Scheme. It can provide quick interim relief up to $1 lakh for acid attack victims within just 15 days. And the final compensation often gets secured, maybe 75% in fixed deposit, for long-term stability.
And that's alongside court-ordered restitution, I assume, where the offender pays directly.
Correct. That directly links the financial penalty back to the person who caused the harm.
So if we look outwards for a second, how does India's approach compare globally?
Well, you see different models. The U.S., for instance, has quite formalized support structures like victim assistance coordinators. India's path is maybe distinct in how much judicial activism has driven these sweeping changes across the whole system. often leading to quite rapid systemic shifts. It's a powerful example of top-down legal evolution meeting grassroots needs.
So, pulling this all together, we've really seen a remarkable journey for victim rights in India. They've gone from just ideas on paper to, well, actual tools and protections.
It's definitely a paradigm shift. It empowers individuals throughout the justice process in a way that wasn't there before. But of course, the big challenge is always implementation, making sure these rights aren't just in the law books, but are actually felt, actually accessible in every community, especially for the most vulnerable.
Absolutely. And as we wrap up this deep dive, maybe something to think about. How do we as a society make sure these hard-won rights truly become lived realities for every single victim? And perhaps what role can you play in pushing for that ongoing transformation?